Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Battleship Missouri for our Veterans Day Sunset Ceremony, the last Veterans Day ceremony in the country on the world's last battleship. Here amidst the hallowed waters of Pearl Harbor on fabled Battleship Row, we are proud to have each of you joining us today. My name is Michael Carr. I have the honor of serving as President and Chief Executive Officer of the USS Missouri Memorial Association, the caretakers of the Battleship Missouri. I also have the distinction of serving as your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's event. As the sun begins its slow descent to the horizon, we're gathered here to offer our thanks and appreciation to all veterans, both men and women, past and present, of all armed forces branches who have served our country with valor to protect the freedoms all of us enjoy. As you can see on the cover of your program, the theme of today's ceremony is honoring the heroes of Guadalcanal, remembering sacrifice and celebrating peace. Joining us for today's ceremony are many honorees that we'd like to recognize at this time. First and foremost, in honor of those who have bravely served our country, I would like to ask all veterans in attendance to please stand, if you're able, and be recognized. Mahalo for your service to our country and for protecting our freedoms, and I'm honored to be one of you. We're also honored to have many military leaders and dignitaries joining us for today's ceremony. Delivering the keynote address for today's ceremony is Representative Jill Tokuda of the 118th United States Congress. Jill? Our distinguished guest speaker is Colonel Matthew Brannon, Acting Deputy Director for Operations of the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Colonel? And we are also honored to welcome Rear Admiral Stephen Barnett, Rear Admiral Richard Seif, Rear Admiral Eric Ruttenberg, and Air Vice Marshal Carl Newman. Would they please stand and be recognized? And please forgive me if I missed anybody. The USS Missouri Memorial Association is grateful for the support that we receive from Hawaii's elected officials. Not only is Representative Jill Tokuda here, but I'd also like to recognize Council Member Val Okimoto. We're also honored to have Consul General of Korea, Lee Soo-young. And please welcome the individuals responsible for overseeing the preservation, care, and legacy of America's last battleship, members of the USS Missouri Memorial Association's Board of Directors, who are our Chairman, Captain Steve Colon, and Captain Jack Laufer. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize some of our very own USS Missouri BB-63 former crew members who are here in attendance this evening. The last executive officer of the ship, Captain Ken Jordan. Also, Korean War vet, Toby Langwan. Hey, Toby. As well as a new member of our staff and a former crewman, Daniel Violette. Daniel? Finally, please a warm mahalo to all the veterans who work today on the staff of the Battleship Missouri Memorial. We're fortunate to have these dedicated men and women working every day to uphold the glory of the USS Missouri. You can view the names of the veterans working on our staff in your program. Staff, please stand. They're all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, colors will be administered by the Pacific Command Joint Surface Color Guard. Please rise if you're able for the parade of colors, and please remain standing for our national anthem and Hawaii Pono'i. Color Guard, parade the colors.
More Tom, more! Left turn, more! Colors, halt!
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, order!
Color Guard, retire the colors.
More Tom, more! Right turn, more! Forward, more! Left, right, left, 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 right, left, left, left.
How about a warm thank you to the Sounds of Aloha Chorus for both of those. Thank you, gentlemen. Offering today's invocation is Captain Marion Logan, Command Chaplain for Headquarters, Pacific Air Forces.
I want to encourage you to join me as I pray in my faith tradition. Please join me in yours as well. Our Heavenly Father, we gather in lieu of Veterans Day. Ultimately, it's answering a call to service, a call to protect and defend, a call to preserve our way of life. It is an oath of loyalty. It is an experience of excellence, camaraderie, availability, risk, and inconvenience. Today we recognize this and acknowledge that serving others is representative of the divine characteristics of humility, honor, loyalty, and laying one's life down. Laying down one's life is ultimately out of love, and great love requires sacrifice. Lord, we honor those who have voluntarily and willfully chosen a life of individual sacrifice for the benefit of others, a life of discomfort so others can feel comfort, a life of great risk so others have security, a life of submission so others will have freedom. We commemorate and celebrate those who have answered the call to sacrifice. Yet, O righteous Father, we stand together, rededicating ourselves to this call of sacrifice. It is our code, our mission, and our duty. Thank you for exemplifying sacrifice and calling us to this same mission. Holy God, lead all of us. Unite us in spirit of service. Guide and sustain us. Let us all reflect your goodness in your great name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Logan. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The America we all love today would not be what it is if not for the brave veterans, both past and present. For this, we thank each and every one of you and your families today and every day of the year. For this year's ceremony, we honored to recognize the veterans who served during the Battle of Guadalcanal and celebrate the enduring peace that arose in its wake. Paving the way to peace came with heavy sacrifices, and we would like to offer our eternal gratitude to all those service members who fought and died during that pivotal battle. Thank you for serving with distinction and honor. This year marks the 80th anniversary to the end of the Battle of Guadalcanal, a Marine-led offensive to secure a strategic location in the Pacific. The Battle of Guadalcanal raged for 6 months, and to all of our gratitude, as America knew they would, the Marines were victorious, but not without a huge cost. Victory at Guadalcanal set the tone for a series of events that turned the tide of the Pacific War in World War II in favor of the Allied nations, setting the stage for the eventual surrender here on board the USS Missouri and laying the foundations for a lasting peace throughout the Pacific. As we stand here today, we reflect upon the bravery and fortitude displayed by those who shaped the course of history. The legacy of Guadalcanal lives on as a symbol of hope, reconciliation, and the enduring values of sacrifice and resilience from World War II. To the heroes of Guadalcanal and all of our veterans, may your valor and sacrifice forever serve as a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. Now I'd like to introduce our guest speakers. Presenting the opening address for today's ceremony is Captain Steve Colon, a retired decorated captain who served our country for 26 years in the U.S. Navy and today serves as chairman for the USS Missouri Memorial Association. Steve is also the president of Hunt Development Hawaii. Please welcome Captain Steve Colon.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an honor. What an honor it is to be here in this location, in this setting, on this day. On behalf of the Battleship Missouri Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to our annual ceremony where we pay tribute to the dedication of America's veterans. Thank you for sharing your time with us and allowing us to remember the men and women who have dedicated their lives to the service of our nation. We have a mission here on the Missouri, and the Board of Directors, which I am honored to chair, is responsible for ensuring that that mission is fulfilled. That is to preserve this iconic battleship and its place in history. Through the efforts of our crew, we are one of the top visitor attractions in the state. In fact, we just recently welcomed our 10 millionth visitor. That's 10 million visitors since 1999. That's quite a story. We're dedicated to sharing the USS Missouri's legacy with visitors who come here from around the world to see where world history was made in times of war on a battleship that now stands as a symbol for peace and goodwill to all. We have an amazing ship's crew and volunteers. I can't tell you how proud I am of them. They have worked hard, and they work hard every day to preserve this iconic piece of history. The fruits of their labor, it's right here for all of you to see. I mean, I cannot imagine how this ship could look any better than it does. It is just, every time I come on board, every time I walk these decks, and I get to talk to these crew members, and I get to feel the pride they have, it never fails to amaze me. In fact, we've opened new exhibits, and I hope for those of you who haven't already had the chance to go down below decks and take a look, please do. You've got to see them. They're just really amazing. We are on the cusp of completing a multi-year restoration of all these teak decks. And if you were to go see any battleship anywhere else on the mainland, believe me, they don't look anything like this. And I've got so much pride for what they've been able to do. And because of all the efforts that this crew's made over the last 25 years, we're now getting at the point where we're starting to think about how we can take the visitor experience to the next level. So what does that mean? That means, now taking a look at what can we do on the pier. What can we do with more of a kind of a long-term vision? Because we've proven we can do it. We're not going anywhere. So today we're here to talk about the Battle of Guadalcanal. And Veterans Day serves as a powerful reminder of the unbroken thread that connects our generations of service. Of course, this theme is going to be remembering the World War II Battle of Guadalcanal. Our veterans are the guardians of freedom. Their dedication and sacrifice have shaped the world we live in today. On this day, we express our unwavering gratitude for their service. Mahalo to you all, and look forward to our next speaker. Take care.
Thank you, Steve, and I appreciate the shout-out for our crew and the amazing work that they do. This ship is indeed almost looks better than it did the day it was first launched. Today's distinguished guest speaker is Colonel Matthew Brennan, Acting Deputy Director for Operations of the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Marine Colonel Brennan boasts a distinguished military career marked by notable overseas deployments supporting joint combat operations. His exceptional service and leadership have earned him numerous prestigious accolades, including a Bronze Star and Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Please welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Colonel Matthew Brennan.
I was told I didn't need the stand, but maybe people in the back can't see me, so I'm going to give it a shot. So I think I'm really just, first of all, I want to say welcome Representative Takuda, Consul General Lee, Flag General Officers, veterans, service members, families, friends. Thank you for this opportunity. This really is an honor for me to be here with you today aboard the Missouri, the mighty Mo, a symbol of sacrifice and victory on this Veterans Day. As mentioned, I'm currently serving as the Deputy Director for Operations at the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. And I think it's just fitting for those who may not know about the agency or have heard of the agency, just to share real quickly what we're all about at the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Our mission is to provide the fullest possible accounting to our missing personnel, to their families, and the nation. And I'll say day in and day out, the men and women of DPAA tirelessly work to fulfill that promise. There's more than 81,000 missing from World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Cold War, and other conflicts. We believe that we can account for over 37,000 of those still missing. And just as we're honoring the Battle of Guadalcanal, there are over 5,800 service members still missing from that battle. The mission that I am honored and privileged to lead as the Deputy Director for Operations is truly a sacred obligation and a moral imperative. Now, as we observe the 80th anniversary of pivotal battles of World War II, such as Guadalcanal, and the upcoming 80th anniversary of the Battle of Tarawa, we pause to honor those who endured the harsh realities and challenges of combat and those who gave the last full measure of devotion to our country. The Imperial Japanese military began its major sweep through the Pacific in December 1941. The attack on Oahu on December 7th brought America into the war. American forces began an attempt to push back on Japanese aggression in early 1942, with small air attacks on the newly established Japanese defenses, and the famed Doolittle raids served as a morale builder for American service members. Both nations, however, eyed the islands of the Pacific, the South Pacific, as critical to military success in the Pacific. In May of 1942, the Japanese landed in the Solomon Islands and began construction of an airfield along the north coast of Guadalcanal, the largest of the Solomon Islands. Taking advantage of successes at Midway in early June, the Joint Chiefs of Staff instructed American leadership in the Pacific to begin offensive operations against the Japanese immediately. With just weeks to plan, the Americans decided on amphibious landings against the newly established Japanese forces at Guadalcanal. The untested 1st Marine Division, together for the first time as a division, assumed the most prominent role in taking Guadalcanal. On 7 August 1942, the Marines landed unopposed on Guadalcanal's north coast and quickly seized the airfield. The Japanese responded by sending men to win it back. Lasting from 7 August 1942 through 9 February 1943, Guadalcanal became the longest single battle fought by Americans in World War II. Control of the land, sea, and air was critical to winning the battle, and fierce fighting occurred in all three phases. Tens of thousands of service members fought on and around Guadalcanal. As the battle progressed, the Americans dispatched 3 additional infantry divisions to join the land battle. A combined service air arm known as the Cactus Air Force patrolled the skies, and the Navy fought 7 battles in and around what would become known as Iron Bottom Sound. Admiral and historian Samuel E. Morrison recalled Guadalcanal as more than just an island in the Pacific War. For those who were there, or whose friends were there, he wrote, Guadalcanal is not a name, but an emotion, recalling desperate fights in the air, furious night battles, frantic work at supply or construction, savage fighting in the sodden jungle, nights broken by screaming bombs and deafening explosions of Navy shells. In the end, despite incredible tenacity displayed by the Japanese military, the Americans succeeded at Guadalcanal. After the battle, the previously untried 1st Marine Division victoriously wore a blue diamond patch emblazoned with the representation of the Southern Cross and Guadalcanal inscribed in the red number 1. That design remains as the insignia of the 1st Marine Division today. Out of this critical engagement came no less than 20 Medal of Honor recipients from all branches of services, including the only U.S. Coast Guard Medal of Honor ever awarded to Signalman First Class Douglas Albert Monroe, who was killed while evacuating nearly 500 Marines. The United States military, alongside allies, relentlessly pressed forward, leading to the signing of the Instrument of Surrender on these very decks in 1945, marking the beginning of reconciliation and the pursuit of peace. A French psychologist once said, "Pain is either transferred or it's transformed." And I think our relationship with the Japanese today is an example of how you can transform pain. We forget about the past, we work together for the future, and the enduring partnership between the United States and Japan stands as a testament of freedom, open dialogue, and human rights. Today, we honor all veterans who have served in times of peace and war. We express our gratitude for their dedication and courage. The USS Missouri, a floating museum in Pearl Harbor, reminds us of the power of unity and the sacrifices made to protect the freedom and democracy. Freedom is never free, and it's defended by those with hearts of gold and nerves of steel. While we may cherish the kind words of thank you, the handshakes, the warm embraces from our civilian brothers and sisters, let us never forget the privilege of this praise. It was purchased in blood, sweat, and tears. And may we as veterans always live up to their high example and be worthy of our nation's highest acclaim. Our veterans embody patriotism, love of country, a willingness to serve and sacrifice. On this Veterans Day, let us honor their service in both words and actions, support our veterans, ensure their sacrifices are remembered, and protect their well-being. It is fitting that we remember those who heroically and selflessly fought with indomitable spirit, courage, sacrifice, and a refusal to accept defeat. We remember those who fought, those who returned with physical and mental wounds, those who died, and all those who have endured for the cause of freedom. Thank you very much. May we always uphold the legacy of those who have gone before us. God bless you. God bless America.
Thank you, Colonel Brennan, for those awesome words. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Our keynote speaker is elected Representative Jill Tokuda of the United States Congress. Jill Tokuda represents the Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District and serves on multiple key communities in the U.S. Congress. During her influential time in the Hawaii State Senate, she championed impactful legislation, playing a crucial role in balancing the state's budget and facilitating the protection of vital agricultural lands, and was always a friend of the battleship Missouri. It's my honor to welcome today's ceremony, Representative Jill Tokuda.
Okay, I definitely needed the box here. I will tell you that all day today, and being that this is the last official ceremony in the United States, I can claim fame to that, but I have been getting pictures from my colleagues across the country bragging about their backgrounds, excuse me, where they're giving their speeches, how beautiful it is. I don't know about you, but I definitely think I win that competition. So it's going to be fun sharing this out with them in just a little bit. But aloha and, thank you to all of you here today. I am just so humbled and grateful that all of you have extended this opportunity for me to come and to share this moment, speak with all of you today. I'll be very honest. With everything going on in D.C., and the deep political divides that we are seeing that's keeping us from doing the people's work, I honestly was a bit worried about whether or not I would actually be able to get home this weekend and share this moment with all of you. Fortunately, though, even in my short time in Congress, the one thing I have found to be absolutely true is that when it comes to honoring our veterans, taking care of our veterans, and supporting our veterans, we come together. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. This is about doing what is right in recognition and honor of your service and your sacrifice. And in thinking about what I might share today that would add a little bit to the other speakers that have come before me, a number of different things came to mind. The signing of the PACT Act last August, undoubtedly the most significant expansion of benefits and service for toxic exposed veterans in more than 30 years. And yet we still need to do more. But this was a huge step. Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District is home to about 50,000 veterans. And in just over a year since its signing, we have actually had over 2,900 veterans in our district submit PACT Act-related benefits claim for disability payments. And we know that with the record outreach through the VA that we are seeing, we are going to see that number only increase. The critical needs we are meeting with the Comprehensive Prevention Access to Care and Treatment, or COMPACT Act. This bill was signed into law earlier this year, and it means that veterans with acute suicidal crisis can immediately go to any VA or non-VA facility for emergency health care at absolutely no cost to them. And in the 118th Congress, the work we are doing to build on the PACT Act to make sure that it is implemented with fidelity, and looking at providing radiation-exposed service members undisputed medical eligibility, or what we are calling the PRESUME Act, of which I'm a co-sponsor, will allow radiation-exposed veterans to get the benefits and care they need and that they deserve. But flying home, I was mulling over the theme for today's gathering, and I found myself thinking about the writings of a captured Japanese officer who wrote amongst his papers, "The success or failure of recapturing Guadalcanal Island and the vital Navy battle related to it is the fork in the road, which leads to victory for them or for us." So often in hard-fought battles and wars, we remember the highlights of the beginning, we remember highlights from the end. December 7th and the bombing of Pearl Harbor, most auspicious location where we are right now, D-Day and the invasion of Normandy, the Battle of Okinawa. But to take us from the beginning to whatever that end may be, there are always pivotal battles, forks in the road, moments in time that change the trajectory towards either victory or to defeat. Which way we go at these crossroads are dependent on many, many factors. But in my humblest of opinions, and celebrating this auspicious day here today, I truly believe it is our soldiers on the battlefield, overcoming insurmountable odds that truly determine our fate. As we mark the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Guadalcanal, a moment that was, as President Franklin Delano Roosevelt stated, the turning point in the war in the Pacific, it is important that we never forget the sacrifice, the resiliency, the valor, and the service of all of our veterans who made this fork in the road possible, leading to our victory. And when I say all of our veterans, I do so in solemn recognition that we have yet to still do right by our Filipino veterans from World War II. During World War II, more than 260,000 Filipino and Filipino-American soldiers answered the call to defend the United States and the Philippines from a common enemy. They served and sacrificed under one flag, the American flag. And yet, sadly, over a lifetime later, they are still fighting to be recognized and treated like any other American veteran. The Rescission Acts of 1947 serves as a stark reminder of a broken promise made to our Filipino veterans and a wrong that must still be fought to be made right. To me, we cannot talk about the hard-fought battles in the War of the Pacific, like Guadalcanal, or any military campaign that has come since, without also talking about the battles we must still fight to recognize and to fully support all of our veterans and their families who made these victories possible. You know, earlier today I was speaking on Kauai at the Kauai Veterans Cemetery, and I truly felt that it was important to meet the moment where we are at right now. With everything going on around the world, we too are at a crossroads, much like we were 80 years ago in Guadalcanal. I took this moment to remember a local Kauai boy, a veteran who served in both the 100th Battalion and the Military Intelligence Service, and yes, who also served in Congress. I am, of course, speaking about the late Senator Spark Matsunaga. He did many things during his tenure that impacted all of us. I will share personally for our family his work on the redress and apology for the internment of Japanese Americans incarcerated during World War II was deeply personal. My Gigi, my great-grandfather, had been taken from his home in Pu'unene on Maui and first interned in Honouliuli, right here on Oahu, then Sharp Park in California, and finally Santa Fe in New Mexico. All the while his son, my grandfather, served in the Military Intelligence Service on behalf of a country that felt he and his father were aliens. But it was Sparky's leadership and work on the United States Institute of Peace Act that I think about quite often right now, where we are in this moment in our history and across the world. As someone once said of the senator and his work, who wants peace more than the soldier on the front lines of war? Sparky had been on those front lines himself. He saw where our world was going, and amidst Cold War fears and tensions, as a veteran intimately familiar with the sacrifices that come with war and service, he fought for peace. Sparky reminded us all, through his example, that our best chance at peace, our best peace builders, our peacekeepers, are in fact our veterans. Brave men and women willing to sacrifice everything on the battlefield, doing so in defense of democracy and for the chance that all of us and generations to come, our children, might be able to live in a time of peace. In this world we now find ourselves in, where peace, every day when we turn on the news and we read the paper, just seems so far away, I look to all of you, our veterans, with great thanks and with great hope. Your sacrifices over decades and countless military campaigns have made peace possible. Your blood, sweat, and tears have laid the foundation for peace throughout the world. And the tragedy and the darkness of war that you have seen and experienced has guided us, has taught us to seek a different outcome. And when I look across the world right now, from the Middle East and all that is happening in Israel and Gaza and to Ukraine and tensions far closer to home in the Indo-Pacific, I see when I look out so many veterans like Sparky, like each and every one of you here, continuing to serve, leading us towards a place of stability and peace. Thank you to our veterans, to their families for whom we have asked far too much, and honestly, for whom we can never do enough in return. Your commitment to service above self inspires and drives me and my colleagues forward to honor and make good on the sacrifices you have made for our families, for our state, for our country, and our world. In closing, I would be remiss if I did not mention that while we are all gathered here today, and we have gathered across this state as well in different communities on every island to celebrate Veterans Day, I cannot help but look out and also miss my friend, some of you may have known him, Ron Hahn, who served as the Director of Veterans Affairs for the state of Hawaii. Ron and I worked together in support of veterans from my time in the state Senate. He was a tireless advocate. He was an amazing human being. To the very end, he worked in support and defense of veterans and their rights. He cared for their families as if they were his own. And now, with him gone, I know that he leaves it to all of us to carry on his work as he cheers us on from above. Thank you for allowing me to share this special day with all of you. Let us remember as we part ways that we can and should celebrate today, but more importantly, we should make sure that each and every day is a special one for our veterans in recognition of their countless sacrifices and their significant contributions to peace and stability in the United States and across the world. Thank you again for allowing me to be here today, and happy Veterans Day. Mahalo, everyone.
Thank you, Jill, for your perspective, and it was great to have you here. I hope not for the last time. And I did not know about Ron. I'm sorry to hear that. And now please enjoy a favorite of all of us, played by the U.S. Pacific Fleet Band Winwood Quintet, God Bless America. Thank you. That was great. Fellow veterans, active duty personnel, and ladies and gentlemen in attendance, please stand if you're able and join us in remembering America's fallen heroes. We will first observe a moment of silence, followed by a rifle salute, playing of echo taps, Amazing Grace, and then the benediction. Please remain standing for the benediction by Chaplain Logan.
At the conclusion of this commemoration, let us all be reminded of the power of serving. Service is action. It is being part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We serve a great mission to preserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Do not miss the opportunity to bless someone by lifting them up in word and good deeds. Be encouraged by this honor to serve. In this great mission, do not forget to take care of your well-being, connect with those that you love, bless your community. Be blessed today. Remember this, we are blessed so that we can be a blessing. As we conclude, may the Spirit of God be near you to defend you, within you to refresh you, around you to preserve you, before you to guide you, behind you to justify you, and above you to bless you. Forevermore, amen.
Please be seated. And thank you, Chaplain. I want to thank very much all of you here today for coming and honoring our nation's veterans. Special thanks go to our guest speakers, Captain Steve Colon, Marine Colonel Matthew Brennan, and Representative Jill Tokuda. Most of all, our heartfelt appreciation goes out to all of our armed forces veterans, as well as to all the current service members in our armed forces and to all their families for supporting their commitment and duty to country. Thank you again for your service today and every day. I'm going to go a little bit off script, and because I'm the MC and I can do that, and ask you to please be seated while we conclude our ceremony with the playing of the Armed Forces Medley performed by the U.S. Pacific Fleet Band, Wynwood Quintet. Please enjoy the music, the beautiful sunset, and your time aboard the battleship Missouri Memorial, and stand when your service hymn or slogan or anthem is played.